What drives you to get out of bed every morning? Is it the thrill of a new day or the responsibility of tasks ahead? People have pondered the essence of motivation for centuries, and yet, it still remains one of the most profound mysteries of the human mind. Motivation can be described as the process that initiates, guides, and maintains goal-oriented behaviors. It's what compels us to act. Whether it's fulfilling basic needs like hunger or pursuing complex desires like self-actualization, motivation is at the core of everything we do. Legendary psychologist Abraham Maslow introduced a hierarchy of needs, illustrating that human motivation is driven by a series of needs ranging from the most basic physiological ones to the higher-level need for self-actualization. According to Maslow, only when lower-level needs are met do individuals strive for higher-level needs. Maslow's theories, while groundbreaking, were just the beginning. In the latter half of the 20th century, the focus shifted to understanding intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation, which comes from within, is driven by personal satisfaction or the joy of completing a task. Conversely, extrinsic motivation is fueled by external rewards, money, fame, or recognition. Research has shown that intrinsic motivation leads to higher levels of persistence, creativity, and performance. A study conducted by Ryan and Deci in 2000 highlighted that when individuals are intrinsically motivated, they engage more deeply and meaningfully with their activities. But what happens when motivation fades? Have you ever felt a lack of drive? Maybe after finishing a big project or reaching a major milestone? This phenomenon, known as the post-achievement slump, offers insight into motivational dynamics. When individuals achieve a significant goal, they often experience a dip in motivation, leading to feelings of emptiness and loss. This aspect of motivation underscores its complex nature. It's not a constant force. It ebbs and flows, influenced by various internal and external factors. As we continue to explore the science of motivation, we'll uncover why this drives our behaviors and how we can harness it effectively. Stay tuned, as next we'll dive deeper into the factors influencing motivation and the groundbreaking theories that have emerged to explain it. As we embark on our journey through motivation's intricate landscape, let's explore some of the key theories that have shaped our understanding. Each theory reflects varied dimensions of what inspires human behavior. One of the most prominent theories is the self-determination theory, developed by Edward Deci and Richard Ryan. This theory emphasizes the role of intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, positing that individuals are more motivated when they feel a sense of autonomy, competence, and relatedness. For instance, in a workplace setting, when employees are granted autonomy, they are likely to be more engaged and productive. This has been evidenced by companies that allow flexible working arrangements. The employees often report higher job satisfaction, leading to better performance. Research from Gallup showed that teams scoring in the top quartile of employee engagement saw a 21% increase in profitability. Another key theory is the expectancy theory, proposed by Victor Vroom in the 1960s. Vroom suggests that an individual's motivation to act in a certain way depends on the expected results of their actions. The theory intricately links effort, performance, and outcomes. Imagine a student studying late into the night. Their motivation hinges on two factors: how much effort they put in and the grades they expect to achieve. If they believe their effort will yield high grades, they are more likely to invest in their studies. On the flip side, if they think the effort is futile, their motivation diminishes. Then, we also have Herzberg's two-factor theory, which distinguishes between hygiene factors and motivators. Hygiene factors, such as salary and work conditions, do not necessarily motivate employees but can cause dissatisfaction if absent. Conversely, true motivation arises from factors like recognition and personal growth opportunities. Understanding these theories is crucial because it not only helps us comprehend what drives others but also provides insights into our own motivations. As we navigate through life, identifying what motivates us can lead to more contentment and achievement. Yet, while these theories provide frameworks, the real-world application can be complex. How do we apply this knowledge to our everyday lives? In the next chapter, we will delve into practical strategies to foster motivation in ourselves and in others. Stay with us as we bridge theory and practice. Intrinsic and extrinsic motivations shape our behaviors profoundly, yet they manifest in distinct ways. Understanding their differences is essential for personal growth. Intrinsic motivation comes from within. It drives us to engage in activities for the inherent satisfaction they provide, like a painter creating art for the joy of it. On the other hand, extrinsic motivation relies on external rewards, such as money, praise, or a trophy. A classic study by Edward Deci illustrates the importance of intrinsic motivation. In his experiment, participants were asked to solve puzzles. Some were offered rewards, others were not. Interestingly, those who were given rewards showed less interest in puzzles afterward. This finding suggests that extrinsic rewards can lead to a decrease in intrinsic motivation, a phenomenon known as the overjustification effect. This effect is particularly evident among children. When kids are given rewards for activities they love, they may subsequently lose interest in those activities. While extrinsic rewards can be effective in the short term, especially in environments like workplaces or schools, harnessing intrinsic motivation leads to longer-lasting engagement. A notable example is found in schools that incorporate project-based learning. In these classrooms, students often engage deeply with their subjects because they are intrinsically motivated to explore their interests. However, the real world isn't black and white. Many situations require a combination of intrinsic and extrinsic motivations. Let's consider a scenario. A salesperson might be driven by personal satisfaction from closing a deal, intrinsic, yet also motivated by a commission bonus, extrinsic. Finding the right balance is crucial. Research shows that fostering an environment where intrinsic motivation flourishes can enhance overall motivation and satisfaction. As we move forward, we'll uncover strategies to enhance intrinsic motivation, particularly when faced with challenges or stagnation. How can we cultivate a sense of purpose and passion in our lives? Stay tuned as we explore actionable techniques to invigorate our intrinsic drives. As we dive deeper into the science of motivation, we must examine the brain. The epicenter of motivation lies in our neural pathways. Understanding the neuroscience behind motivation can provide invaluable insights into human behavior. Recent studies have shown that neurotransmitters play a crucial role in motivation. Dopamine, often referred to as the feel-good chemical, is particularly important. When we achieve a goal, dopamine is released, reinforcing the behavior and encouraging us to pursue similar activities. Research conducted at the University of California, Los Angeles, demonstrated that when individuals engage in activities that they find pleasurable, their brains release higher levels of dopamine, which in turn promotes a desire for similar experiences. This biological mechanism explains why we often chase after rewarding experiences, whether it's completing a project or indulging in our favorite foods. However, motivation is not just about rewards. The brain also reacts to challenges. The anterior cingulate cortex, a part of our brain associated with decision-making and emotion, activates when we face obstacles. This activation is crucial for motivation. It signals us to adapt, push forward, and overcome hurdles, which can lead to greater satisfaction in achievements. It suggests that overcoming challenges can heighten our motivation and create a deeper sense of accomplishment. Furthermore, understanding the role of the prefrontal cortex is essential. This area of the brain is involved in planning and self-control. Our ability to delay gratification and focus on long-term goals relies heavily on the prefrontal cortex. Neuroscientific evidence indicates that those with a more active prefrontal cortex tend to excel in self-regulation and goal setting. A study conducted at Stanford University highlighted that participants who practiced mindfulness and meditation saw increased activity in the prefrontal cortex, enhancing their ability to stay motivated. As we uncover these scientific foundations, we begin to see motivation as a complex interplay of biology, experiences, and behaviors. But how can we leverage this knowledge in our daily lives? In the upcoming chapter, we will discuss practical techniques to ignite and maintain motivation using insights gained from neuroscience. Stay with us to discover how to harness the brain's power effectively. Armed with an understanding of motivation science and theories, it's time to convert that knowledge into action. What practical strategies can we implement to ignite and sustain our motivations in everyday life? One effective technique is goal setting. Research indicates that setting specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, SMART, goals can significantly enhance motivation. A meta-analysis conducted by Locke and Latham in 2002 showed that goal setting led to higher performance and motivation across various fields. For instance, a study featuring students who set SMART goals for their academic performance reported higher grades and increased motivation compared to those without clear goals. Moreover, breaking goals into smaller, manageable tasks can create a sense of accomplishment that fuels motivation. Each small win triggers dopamine release, reinforcing behaviors and propelling individuals towards larger goals. Another powerful strategy is the practice of positive self-talk and visualization. The mind-body connection is profound. Our thoughts have the power to alter our feelings and behaviors. Athletes often use visualization techniques to enhance their performance. A study published in the Journal of Sports Psychology indicated that mental imagery significantly improved participants' performance in sports by enhancing motivation and focus. Thus, taking time to visualize success can boost your intrinsic motivation. Accountability can also play a significant role in maintaining motivation. Sharing your goals with a friend or a mentor not only creates a support system but also adds a layer of accountability. Research from the Dominican University of California revealed that individuals who wrote down their goals and shared them with others had a 33% higher chance of achieving them. Lastly, creating an inspiring environment can foster motivation. Surround yourself with motivational quotes, visuals of your goals, or even supportive individuals. As we implement these strategies, it's important to remember that motivation can fluctuate. There will be days when motivation is high and others when it wanes. Embrace the journey and be patient with yourself. As we prepare to conclude this segment, we'll explore more ways to maintain motivation over the long haul. Join us in the next chapter as we discuss resilience and the power of grit in the face of challenges. The environment we inhabit plays a crucial role in our motivation levels. Picture this: two individuals, both with the same ambition to succeed. One works in a dimly lit, cluttered room filled with distractions, while the other is in a bright, organized space, surrounded by inspiring artwork. Which one do you think will be more motivated? Research indicates that our physical surroundings can significantly impact our mental states and motivational drive. A study by the University of California revealed that natural light and greenery can boost productivity levels by up to 15%. This brings us to the concept of environmental cues that can either inspire or deter motivation. For example, consider how office spaces are designed in modern companies. Tech giants like Google emphasize open spaces and collaborative areas, fostering a culture of creativity and innovation. This design is not merely aesthetic, it's grounded in the science of motivation. In contrast, traditional cubicles tend to create feelings of isolation and monotony. Moreover, social environments also play a significant role. The influence of peers can either propel us forward or pull us back. Studies show that individuals are significantly more likely to achieve their goals when surrounded by supportive friends and family. A classic example is the weight loss program, Weight Watchers, which emphasizes community support. The company's research found that participants who engaged in group meetings lost 50% more weight compared to those who worked alone. This highlights the concept of shared motivation, where the collective energy and encouragement from others can create a powerful catalyst for personal achievement. But it's not just support that matters, competition can also serve as a strong motivator. The phenomenon of gamification in workplace settings shows how introducing competitive elements can enhance motivation. For instance, companies using leaderboards or reward systems have seen productivity increases by over 20%. This competitive spirit can be harnessed through various means, from friendly challenges among coworkers to public commitments on social media platforms. As we immerse ourselves further into the interplay between environment and motivation, we must also address the concept of placebo motivation, where the expectations set by our surroundings can drive us to perform better, even if the change is purely psychological. For instance, the mere act of changing one's workspace can trigger a fresh wave of creativity and determination. This leads us to understand that modifying our environments intentionally can be a powerful strategy, encouraging us to take action and rise to new challenges. By surrounding ourselves with positive, motivating stimuli, we set ourselves up for success. In our journey towards becoming the best versions of ourselves, utilizing our environments deliberately can be a game changer. In conclusion, as you reflect on your own environment, consider how it impacts your motivation. Are there elements in your space that inspire you? Or are there distractions that could be minimized? Small adjustments can create significant shifts in our motivational landscape. We are now ready to explore how to harness these insights into actionable plans. In today's world, technology is ubiquitous, and it profoundly influences our motivation. Every aspect of our lives is intertwined with digital devices, from smartphones to social media, affecting how we chase our goals. But does technology enhance our motivation or hinder it? Let's delve into the dual-edged sword that is technology. On one hand, platforms like Duolingo and Noom leverage gamification to make learning and health management engaging. These apps deploy reward systems and progress tracking that keep users motivated. For example, Duolingo reports that users who engage with the app for just 34 hours can reach proficiency equivalent to a college-level language course. Social media, another powerful tool, creates a unique dynamic for motivation. It allows us to connect with like-minded individuals, share our goals, and receive encouragement. However, it also exposes us to comparison and the pressure to perform. Studies indicate that while social media can provide support, it can also lead to feelings of inadequacy for nearly 60% of users when they compare their lives to others. This paradox raises a crucial question: how do we find a balance? Additionally, the endless access to information can be both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, platforms like YouTube and educational websites offer endless resources that can spark motivation. On the other hand, the overload of information can lead to analysis paralysis, making it difficult to take action. A study from Stanford University found that too much choice decreases motivation and satisfaction levels significantly. The key lies in curating our digital experiences, following motivating accounts, subscribing to uplifting content, and using technology as a tool for enhancement rather than distraction. Let's not forget the impact of remote working technology on productivity. The shift towards remote work has revolutionized our motivation landscape. While some thrive in the comfort of home, others struggle with isolation and lack of structure. One study found that remote workers can experience feelings of loneliness that diminish motivation. Up to 40% indicated that a lack of social interaction decreased their motivation levels. Despite the challenges, technology also provides unique solutions. Virtual reality experiences can mimic real-world interactions, making remote working more engaging. Innovations in collaborative platforms like Slack and Zoom keep teams connected and motivated. These tools encourage sharing ideas and fostering communities, proving that technology can serve as a powerful motivator when used wisely. In conclusion, technology is a double-edged sword. As we navigate the digital age, it's essential to intentionally choose how we engage with it, ensuring that it serves as a motivating force rather than a distracting one. Now, as we embrace the benefits of technology, let's turn our focus to personal narratives, how our backgrounds shape our motivation. Our personal narratives, the stories we tell ourselves, play a significant role in shaping our motivation. These narratives stem from our upbringing, culture, experiences, and beliefs. Have you ever considered how your own stories influence your drive? Let's explore this powerful connection. Take, for instance, the story of J.K. Rowling, who faced immense challenges before finding success with Harry Potter. Living in near poverty, she fought through rejection after rejection before finally publishing her first book. Her experiences became the foundation of her narratives. Rowling once said, "It is our choices that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities." This reflects the resilience built from personal hardship, showcasing how overcoming struggles can fuel motivation. The narrative we create from our failures is just as important as our narratives of success. Research indicates that our self-narratives shape not just our motivations but our identities. Psychologist Dan P. McAdams emphasizes that the stories we construct about our past inform our present and future goals. If we view ourselves as victims of circumstance, our motivation wanes. Conversely, individuals who view their challenges as opportunities tend to be more driven. Consider the impact of cultural narratives. In collectivist societies, motivation may derive more from communal success rather than personal achievement. In contrast, individualistic cultures often emphasize personal goals and aspirations. Research published in the Journal of Cross-Cultural Psychology found that individualistic societies tend to have higher levels of self-motivation. So how do we rewrite our narratives to foster greater motivation? It begins with reflection. By revisiting our experiences and identifying recurring themes, we can shift our perspectives. Consider using journaling as a tool to articulate your motivations and challenges. In doing so, we cultivate a growth mindset, an essential element that encourages us to embrace challenges and learn from setbacks. Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck describes how individuals with a growth mindset view challenges as opportunities for personal development. This perspective drastically alters how we approach our goals. In conclusion, our personal narratives significantly affect our motivation. By recognizing and reshaping these stories, we can create a more empowering motivational framework. As we shift our focus to cultivating a growth mindset, we will uncover how to effectively channel our motivation into actionable change in the next chapter. The concept of a growth mindset, popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck, has gained significant traction in recent years for its profound impact on motivation. At its core, a growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. This idea is revolutionary, particularly in how we perceive challenges and failures. Let's explore how adopting a growth mindset can enhance our motivation. Individuals with a growth mindset view challenges as opportunities to learn rather than insurmountable obstacles. Research conducted by Dweck herself discovered that students who embraced a growth mindset achieved higher academic success than their peers who held a fixed mindset. In one study, students taught about the growth mindset improved their math scores by up to 25% over a school year. Such a perspective shift fosters resilience. When we face setbacks, those with a growth mindset are less likely to give up. Instead, they analyze their failures and adapt their strategies. This resilience, in turn, cultivates a deeper motivation to reach their goals, as each setback is seen as a stepping stone instead of a stumbling block. For example, Thomas Edison embodies this spirit. His countless failures in inventing the light bulb taught him invaluable lessons, ultimately leading to success. Moreover, a growth mindset encourages us to seek feedback and support. Individuals who believe in their capacity for growth are more likely to ask for help and incorporate constructive criticism into their endeavors. This gathering of insights creates a cycle of learning and improvement that fuels motivation. Practical strategies can help cultivate a growth mindset in our daily lives. One effective method is to reframe negative self-talk. When we make mistakes, instead of saying, "I can't do this," we can shift our language to, "I can learn from this experience." Additionally, setting specific, achievable goals and celebrating small victories can reinforce this mindset. When we recognize our progress, we maintain our motivation. In conclusion, cultivating a growth mindset serves as a powerful tool for enhancing motivation. By reframing challenges as opportunities and viewing failures as a part of the learning process, we develop a resilient and driven attitude towards our goals. Now that we understand the significance of a growth mindset, let's transition to practical applications, how we can take actionable steps towards sustaining our motivation going forward. As we wrap up this exploration of motivation, it's vital to discuss the strategies for sustaining motivation for long-term success. The journey to achieving our goals is not always linear. It requires ongoing effort, commitment, and resilience. So, how can we maintain our motivation through the ups and downs of this journey? Let's delve into some effective techniques. Firstly, setting specific and measurable goals is crucial. Research shows that individuals who set clear goals are 10 times more likely to succeed than those without them. The SMART criteria, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, provides a solid framework. For example, instead of stating, "I want to get fit," a SMART goal would be, "I will run 3 times a week for 30 minutes over the next 2 months." Secondly, developing a support system fosters a sense of accountability. Sharing your goals with friends or joining groups focused on similar ambitions can enhance your commitment. Research from the American Society of Training and Development found that those who share their goals with others are 65% more likely to achieve them. When surrounded by a community that shares your aspirations, your motivation soars. Additionally, practicing self-compassion improves resilience and motivation. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that individuals who practiced self-compassion were more motivated to change unhealthy behaviors. This approach recognizes that setbacks are part of the journey and encourages a kinder, more understanding perspective toward ourselves. Finally, engaging in continuous learning keeps motivation alive. Staying curious and embracing new challenges ignites enthusiasm and drive. Attend workshops, read books, or take online courses to expand your knowledge and skills. As the saying goes, the more you know, the more you grow. In conclusion, sustaining motivation requires intention, strategy, and reflection. By setting clear goals, fostering support, practicing self-compassion, and embracing continuous learning, we can navigate the complexities of our ambitions gracefully. As we finish this exploration of motivation, remember that the journey is just as important as the destination. The growth you experience along the way is invaluable. Now, take a moment to reflect on your own journey. What motivates you? How can you apply these insights to elevate your own personal and professional life? Setting goals is more than just a recommendation, it's a science. Research has shown that effective goal setting can significantly boost motivation and performance. Consider the landmark study by Locke and Latham, which identified that specific and challenging goals lead to higher performance than easy, vague goals. The specificity of goals, like aiming to run a half marathon instead of just wanting to get fit, creates a mental roadmap that guides behavior. One of the most fascinating case studies is that of the 1997 U.S. national team in swimming. These athletes relied on well-defined goals linked to their training and performance. Instead of vague aspirations, they broke down their larger objective of qualifying for the Olympics into smaller, achievable milestones, which helped maintain their focus and drive. The SMART criteria, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, is a powerful framework for effective goal setting. A study by the Dominican University of California revealed that people who write down their goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. Why is this? Writing goals down creates a sense of commitment and accountability. Moreover, let's explore the psychological phenomenon known as the goal gradient effect. Research suggests that individuals increase their efforts as they get closer to achieving a goal. For example, a study conducted by researchers at the University of California showed that rats were more likely to run faster as they approached a reward. This effect isn't limited to rats, it reflects our human behavior as well. But goals must be flexible, rigidity can lead to frustration. A story that illustrates the resilience of goal setting is that of Thomas Edison, who famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His persistence in the face of countless failures ultimately led to the invention of the light bulb. What does this tell us about motivation? It shows that our path towards achieving goals may not be straightforward, but every setback can be a learning opportunity. In conclusion, effective goal setting can serve as a powerful motivator, but it requires the right mindset. By understanding the science behind it, we can harness our innate desire to achieve and ultimately lead fulfilling lives. What goals will you set for yourself today? Procrastination, the act of delaying or postponing tasks, can be a significant barrier to motivation. It's a common struggle that many face, and understanding its underlying causes is essential for overcoming it. Research indicates that procrastination is often linked to emotional regulation and fear of failure. For instance, a study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology showed that individuals who procrastinate tend to experience higher levels of anxiety and lower self-esteem. This creates a cycle. As they delay tasks, their anxiety increases, which further demotivates them. A personal story comes from Dr. Tim Pychyl, a professor who has dedicated much of his research to understanding procrastination. He shares his own experiences, stating, "I would put off tasks I found overwhelming, even ones I desperately wanted to achieve." Through his research, he discovered strategies that helped him, and many others, combat procrastination, emphasizing self-compassion and realistic goal setting. One effective strategy is breaking tasks into smaller, manageable pieces. This technique reduces overwhelm and provides a sense of achievement as each smaller task is completed. For instance, consider the inspiring story of a writer who faced a crippling fear of failure. She set a goal of writing just 100 words per day. While initially daunting, this small commitment transformed her routine, and over time, she completed an entire novel. Additionally, it's crucial to create a conducive environment. Eliminating distractions and setting dedicated workspaces can significantly improve motivation. A study from the University of Illinois found that students who studied in distraction-free environments retained more information than their peers who didn't. Establishing accountability can further help combat procrastination. This can be achieved by sharing goals with friends or family, or even through social media platforms. The simple act of announcing a goal can create a sense of obligation that drives action. In fact, a study published in the journal Psychological Science indicated that people who made their intentions public were more likely to follow through. In conclusion, while procrastination can feel like an insurmountable obstacle, understanding its psychological underpinnings and employing practical strategies can reignite motivation. By challenging our fears and creating supportive environments, we can take control of our aspirations. But what will you do today to overcome your own procrastination? Humans are inherently social beings, and our connections with others can profoundly influence our motivation. Social connections can serve as accelerators or barriers for motivation, depending on the nature of those relationships. A compelling study published in the journal Nature revealed that our social networks can significantly impact our behaviors. Researchers found that individuals are often influenced by the motivations and behaviors of those around them. For example, if your friends are health-conscious and active, you're more likely to adopt those behaviors too. Let's delve into the story of a well-known athlete, Serena Williams. Throughout her career, she emphasized the importance of her family and team. Her sister, Venus, has been both a competitor and a collaborator, pushing Serena to strive for greatness. Their relationship exemplifies how supportive environments can elevate performance and motivation. Furthermore, the concept of social accountability can spur action. When we share our goals with friends or join communities with similar aspirations, we create a network of support. A study conducted at the University of Pennsylvania demonstrated that participants who engaged in group goal setting were significantly more likely to achieve their objectives. Consider the growing trend of fitness communities. Many individuals join these groups not just for the workouts but for the motivating camaraderie. One participant shared that the presence of friends during workouts pushed him to exert more effort than he would have alone. This illustrates the power of social dynamics in motivation. On the flip side, negative social influences can lead to demotivation. Toxic relationships, those that belittle, criticize, or undermine confidence, can significantly hinder personal growth. It's essential to evaluate the social circles we surround ourselves with. A powerful example is seen in recovery communities, where individuals often share personal struggles and triumphs, reinforcing their commitment to change together. In conclusion, the relationships we cultivate can either amplify or diminish our motivation. By nurturing positive connections and engaging in supportive communities, we can enhance our drive to succeed. Reflect on your own social circle. Who motivates you, and how can you foster those relationships? Goal setting is one of the most critical components of motivation, acting as a guiding light that directs our efforts and energies toward achieving something meaningful. But what exactly makes a goal effective? Why do some people seem to achieve their goals effortlessly, while others struggle? Let's delve deep into the science behind goal setting, exploring both the psychology and the practical implications. Research from psychologists like Edwin Locke and Gary Latham reveals that specific and challenging goals lead to higher performance than easy or vague ones. Their famous studies across various fields showed that employees who set specific, challenging goals outperformed those who set easy goals or had no goals at all. Consider the example of a student preparing for a major exam. Instead of saying, "I want to do well on my exams," a more effective goal would be, "I will study for 2 hours every day for the next month and take practice tests on Saturdays." This specificity not only guides the study plan but also creates accountability. Additionally, breaking larger goals into smaller, manageable tasks can prevent feelings of overwhelm, enhancing motivation. This technique is often referred to as chunking, where long-term targets are segmented into short-term objectives. For example, rather than aiming to lose 50 pounds as a single goal, one could focus on losing 5 pounds a month, which feels more achievable and allows for regular feedback on progress. Moreover, a study published in the journal Psychological Science highlights that writing down goals significantly improves the likelihood of achieving them. This act engages both the subconscious and conscious mind, creating a clearer vision and reinforcing the commitment to the process. However, goal setting isn't merely about stating what we want to achieve, it also requires understanding the why behind each goal. This intrinsic motivation can make a significant difference. A compelling why can fuel perseverance in the face of setbacks. For instance, consider the case of Thomas Edison, who famously stated, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration." His relentless pursuit of inventing the light bulb was not merely about achieving fame, it was driven by a profound desire to improve people's lives. Ultimately, setting goals is a dynamic process. We need to review, adjust, and sometimes even change our goals completely as circumstances evolve. Flexibility in goal setting can enhance motivation, as it acknowledges the realities of life. Closing this chapter, remember, effective goal setting requires not just ambition but a clear roadmap, a strong why, and the flexibility to adapt along the way. This strategic approach transforms abstract desires into tangible achievements, lighting the path of motivation and success. Next, we will explore the stealthy saboteurs that lurk in the shadows of our productivity, the motivation killers known as procrastination. Procrastination is something we all grapple with at various points in our lives. It's that nagging feeling of putting off tasks that we know we need to confront, often in favor of less important, and sometimes enjoyable, activities. But why do we procrastinate? And more importantly, how can we overcome it? Understanding procrastination begins with recognizing its roots. Research shows that procrastination is often a result of fear of failure, fear of success, or even fear of judgment. Consider the case of a writer staring at a blank page. Instead of typing the first sentence, they might find themselves scrolling through social media for hours, providing instant gratification but ultimately distancing them from their true goal. A study by psychologist Dr. Piers Steele found that nearly 95% of people admit to procrastinating at some point in their lives. Intriguingly, this phenomenon isn't just about poor time management, it also reflects deeper emotional conflicts. For instance, when tasks feel overwhelming or boring, our brain tends to gravitate toward immediate pleasures instead, leading to procrastination. To combat procrastination, experts recommend several strategies. First, the 2-minute rule, proposed by productivity consultant David Allen, suggests that if a task takes less than 2 minutes, you should do it immediately. This can significantly reduce the mental burden of tasks piling up. Next, breaking projects into smaller, manageable pieces can also be highly effective. Instead of saying, "I need to write my thesis," the task could be broken down into manageable steps like "I will write the introduction today," or "I will research sources tonight." This approach can create a more structured and less daunting pathway to completion. Moreover, understanding the power of deadlines can help. Set personal milestones before the actual due date to create an artificial sense of urgency. For instance, if a paper is due in 2 weeks, set a deadline for completing a rough draft in 1 week. Furthermore, self-compassion plays a crucial role in overcoming procrastination. Instead of being harsh on ourselves for putting things off, understanding that this is a common human behavior can ease some of the psychological pressure we place on ourselves. Self-compassion allows individuals to be more resilient and bounce back from setbacks without the guilt that often leads to further procrastination. Lastly, accountability can be a powerful motivator. Sharing your goals with a friend or joining a study group can create a sense of responsibility, pushing you to take action. In one fascinating experiment, participants who shared their goals with others were significantly more likely to follow through. As we wrap up this chapter, remember that procrastination is a universal struggle. But with the right tools and strategies, it can be managed effectively. In our next chapter, we will dive into the fascinating influence of social connections on motivation, how our relationships can either uplift us or hold us back. Human beings are social creatures, and our relationships play a crucial role in shaping our motivation. But how do our social connections influence our drive to achieve our goals? Let's explore the intricate dynamics of motivation within social contexts and how our connections can bolster or undermine our aspirations. Research in social psychology indicates that individuals who maintain strong social ties tend to be more motivated and successful. A classic study by psychologist Robert Cialdini demonstrated that the influence of friends can lead to increased commitment to goals. In his research, participants who observed their peers engaging in healthy behaviors, like exercising or eating well, were more likely to adopt similar habits themselves. Consider the story of Sarah, a dedicated triathlete. Initially, she trained alone and struggled to motivate herself. However, when she joined a local training group, her commitment skyrocketed. The camaraderie, support, and shared goals fostered a sense of accountability that drove her to push beyond her limits. This illustrates how being part of a community can enhance motivation by creating a supportive environment. Further research supports that motivation can be contagious. When people are surrounded by high achievers, their own drive and aspirations can increase. In a study conducted at the University of California, participants who interacted with highly motivated peers showed a notable increase in their own motivation levels. However, not all social connections are beneficial. Negative influences can detract from our motivation and goals. For instance, if an individual surrounds themselves with pessimistic friends who dismiss their ambitions, it can lead to feelings of inadequacy and lower motivation. This highlights the importance of choosing supportive and uplifting social circles. It's also essential to recognize the role of mentorship in motivation. Mentors can provide guidance, inspiration, and a real-world perspective on achieving goals. A survey conducted by the Chronicle of Higher Education found that students with mentors were more likely to graduate and pursue higher degrees compared to those without. Additionally, social media has profoundly changed how we connect and stay motivated. Online communities can offer vast support networks. For example, a person struggling with weight loss may find encouragement and motivation in dedicated groups on platforms like Facebook or Instagram. Closing this chapter, it's evident that our social connections are intricately woven into the fabric of our motivation. By fostering relationships that inspire, challenge, and uplift us, we can enhance our drive to achieve our goals. In our concluding chapter, we will discuss the importance of sustaining motivation for long-term success. Setting goals is a fundamental aspect of human motivation. When we establish clear and achievable goals, we create a roadmap for success. But what makes goals effective? Research indicates that specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound goals, commonly known as SMART goals, can significantly boost our motivation and performance. In a groundbreaking study conducted by Dr. Gail Matthews at the Dominican University of California, individuals who wrote down their goals were 42% more likely to achieve them compared to those who only thought about their goals. This highlights the power of clarity and accountability in our pursuit of motivation. But setting goals isn't just about writing them down. It's essential to understand the role that the process plays in our motivation. For instance, breaking down large projects into smaller, manageable tasks can create a sense of accomplishment that fuels further motivation. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, who faced countless failures while inventing the light bulb. Edison famously stated, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His commitment to the process of innovation, rather than fixating solely on the end result, exemplifies how the journey can be as motivating as the destination. Additionally, the emotional connection we forge with our goals can significantly influence our motivation. When we are passionate about what we are trying to achieve, we are more likely to stay committed and engaged. Consider athletes; those who connect deeply with their sport often push through the toughest of challenges. For example, Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps stated that his motivation came not just from the medals, but from his love of swimming and the thrill of competition. Furthermore, the importance of revisiting and revising our goals cannot be overstated. Regularly assessing our progress and making necessary adjustments can keep us engaged and motivated. Research by Edwin Locke supports this, revealing that feedback plays a crucial role in maintaining motivation levels. As we set out on our motivational journeys, let's remember the importance of these strategies to turn our aspirations into achievements. As we wrap up this exploration of goal setting, consider this: could defining your goals more clearly change your motivation? What emotional connections do you have with your aspirations? The answers to these questions may hold the key to unlocking your true potential. Procrastination, a term that sends chills down the spines of those who struggle with it. It's not just laziness, it's a complex psychological phenomenon that can derail even the most motivated individuals. According to a study conducted by Dr. Piers Steele, approximately 20% of the adult population regularly procrastinates, affecting their productivity and mental health. Understanding the reasons behind procrastination is the first step towards overcoming it. One of the primary culprits is fear of failure, fear of success, or even fear of the unknown. This fear can manifest as perfectionism, where individuals delay a task because they want it to be executed flawlessly. Think of the writer who can't start their novel because they worry they won't meet their own high standards. Another significant factor is the overwhelming nature of tasks. When a project seems too daunting, it's easy to fall into the trap of postponing it. The famous rule of 2-minute tasks comes to the rescue here: if a task will take 2 minutes or less, do it immediately. This simple rule can help create momentum and reduce our tendency to procrastinate. Additionally, understanding our own personal triggers is crucial. Are you more likely to procrastinate in the evening? Or do you find it harder to focus when surrounded by distractions? By recognizing these patterns, you can create an environment that fosters productivity. Let's delve into some practical strategies. One effective method is the Pomodoro technique, developed by Francesco Cirillo. It involves working in focused bursts of 25 minutes followed by short breaks. This creates urgency and can help in maintaining motivation. Another useful tool is visualization. Imagining the successful completion of a task can bolster motivation and decrease procrastination. Athletes often use visualization techniques to prepare mentally for competitions. Just imagine picturing yourself crossing the finish line. This mental rehearsal can make the task feel more attainable. Remember the story of Jerry Seinfeld, who famously used a simple calendar method to maintain his writing habit. He placed a large calendar on his wall and marked each day he wrote with a big red X. The aim was to create a chain of X's, to not break the streak. This visual representation served as a motivational tool to keep him on track. As we think about procrastination, consider this: what small steps can you take today to overcome your inertia? Every little action matters and can lead you closer to defeating procrastination and enhancing your motivation. Humans are inherently social creatures. Our connections with others can significantly influence our motivation levels. Studies from psychologists like Dr. Robert Cialdini emphasize the impact of social norms on behavior, highlighting that we often look to others to gauge our own motivations and actions. But how exactly do our social circles affect our drive to succeed? One primary aspect is the phenomenon known as social facilitation, when an individual's performance is enhanced by the presence of others. Think of a team sport. Athletes often push themselves harder in front of their teammates. A study by Dr. John F. Murray found that individuals displayed a 15% increase in performance when working alongside others. This is powerful evidence of the motivational effects of collaboration and camaraderie. But it's not just about direct interaction. Social media plays a significant role, too. Platforms like Instagram and Facebook can foster a sense of community and accountability. For example, people participating in fitness challenges often find motivation in sharing their progress online, encouraging others and receiving support in return. In contrast, the effects of negative social connections can be detrimental. Surrounding ourselves with pessimistic or unmotivated individuals can drain our motivation. Dr. Christine Carter, a sociologist, emphasizes that emotional contagion, where one person's emotions can influence another's, can lead to decreased motivation and increased feelings of apathy. Consider the motivational journey of Oprah Winfrey, who often speaks about the importance of her support network. She attributes a significant part of her success to the people she surrounded herself with, emphasizing how they inspired her to strive for more. Her story exemplifies the positive impact that supportive connections can have. Building these connections doesn't happen overnight. It requires intentional effort in fostering relationships that uplift us. This can involve seeking out mentors or joining groups that resonate with our goals and aspirations. As we ponder the influence of social connections, ask yourself, who in your life uplifts you? What strategies can you implement to strengthen these connections and enhance your motivation? Recognizing the power of our social environments can be a game changer in our motivation journeys. As we delve into our understanding of motivation, one powerful tool stands out: mindfulness. The practice of mindfulness has been gaining traction over the last decade, not just as a means of improving mental health, but as a technique that can meaningfully enhance motivation. So, what exactly is mindfulness? At its core, mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and engaged in the moment, without judgment. It's about observing our thoughts and feelings without getting trapped in them. Studies have shown that mindfulness can significantly affect our motivation levels. For instance, a 2019 study published in the journal Psychological Science revealed that participants who practiced mindfulness displayed increased intrinsic motivation. They reported feeling more connected to their tasks and experienced a greater sense of fulfillment. This was particularly evident in creative tasks, where mindfulness helped individuals tap into their passion and curiosity. Consider the story of Maria, a graphic designer who struggled with burnout. After incorporating mindfulness into her daily routine, through meditation and mindful breathing, she noticed a shift. Her creative blocks began to dissolve, and her appreciation for her designs returned. Instead of viewing her work as a tedious obligation, she started relishing the process, leading to higher quality outputs and the motivation to take on even bigger projects. Individuals like Maria exemplify how mindfulness helps reclaim our intrinsic drive. By reducing anxiety and promoting clarity, mindfulness creates a fertile ground for motivation to flourish. But how does this tie into broader scientific findings? When we practice mindfulness, we activate regions in our brain associated with emotional regulation and executive function, like the prefrontal cortex. These areas help in setting goals and managing impulses, making it easier to stay motivated. Moreover, mindfulness promotes resilience, which is crucial for motivation. Every setback can easily derail our motivation, but when we approach challenges with a mindful mindset, we can maintain our enthusiasm and adapt our strategies. This resilience is not just limited to personal experiences, it extends to organizations as well. Companies that encourage mindfulness see increased employee engagement and satisfaction, which naturally translates into higher overall motivation levels. However, the journey towards integrating mindfulness isn't always smooth. It requires consistency and practice. Many people question how they can fit mindfulness into their already busy schedules. It's as simple as starting small. Dedicating even a few minutes a day to mindfulness can lead to significant changes in motivation over time. So, as we explore the connection between mindfulness and motivation, we should ask ourselves, how can we incorporate mindful practices into our daily lives to foster greater motivation? This leads us to our next segment, where we will dive into the social aspects of motivation and how our interactions can propel us towards our goals. Stay tuned as we uncover the profound impact our social connections have on our motivation and drive. Motivation is not just a psychological phenomenon, it is intertwined with culture. Our backgrounds, values, and societal norms shape how we perceive motivation and what drives us to action. Throughout history, cultural variations have influenced the ways individuals and groups approach goals, achievements, and personal growth. For instance, in Western cultures, individualism is often emphasized. People are encouraged to pursue personal success, often fueled by external rewards such as recognition, wealth, or status. This can lead to a motivation style that is more extrinsically oriented. In contrast, many Eastern cultures prioritize collectivism. Here, motivation is often derived from the desire to contribute to family, community, or society as a whole. Research suggests that individuals in collectivist cultures might experience motivation differently, finding fulfillment in group achievements rather than personal accolades. Take the example of team sports in Japan, where the success of the team is celebrated collectively, and individual efforts are often downplayed. This cultural lens shapes how athletes train and compete, often fostering a deep sense of belonging and purpose. Let's examine how these cultural perspectives apply in different settings. In corporate America, competition often drives motivation. Employees may be motivated by bonuses, promotions, or public acknowledgement. However, this can lead to stress and burnout. In contrast, companies in Scandinavian countries focus on work-life balance and employee well-being, leading to intrinsic motivation rooted in job satisfaction and collaboration. One illuminating study conducted across various countries found that motivation frameworks could predict a country's overall happiness and productivity levels. In places where collectivism is valued, such as in Bhutan, the notion of gross national happiness guides policies. Here, motivation is derived from achieving harmony and well-being within the community. Bhutan's approach has inspired many to rethink the indicators of success and well-being, emphasizing a more nuanced understanding of motivation beyond mere economic growth. However, navigating cultural differences isn't just beneficial in understanding others, it can also enhance our personal motivation strategies.